Right before she died of a drug overdose, I had no idea she was taking drugs.
It gets you addicted. I mean, I started out like any drug, just doing it once a week, then it became twice a week, then it became almost every night smoking a little bit, then it became waking up with it, doing it all day long.
I didn't get to see my daughter, but her dad did.
He was a heroin addict. He, had struggled with heroin for a long time, but he had been clean for a year.
I'm just thinking to myself, like, God, why? Why did you drive?
I looked to the left, and I saw like this white truck, and I couldn't say no. I said, I go, oh Jesus, like that, and it hit us.
You will be convicted of a felony if you're caught selling this stuff.
And what you don't really realize is that you're putting your life in danger and everybody else around you in danger, and it's just not worth it.
It was 8 minutes from the time the officer left, and that my daughter was killed.
Broke my back at T12, severed my spinal cord, had a punctured lung, a torn diaphragm, and several broken ribs, and that's what left me paralyzed at the waist, and he got a speeding ticket. That's it.
Hi, folks. Thank you for joining us after the premiere of episode 333 of our fentanyl poisoning series, fentanyl awareness series. I see we have quite a few people with us already. Brenda is here and Kimberly is here. John Condi, 1975, is here. 1975, that would have been during the Ford administration. Annie for life. Thank you all for joining us. I really, it means a lot for you folks to be here. And so, where to begin? Let's talk a little bit about this story wow. Okay, I'm here. Let's talk a little bit about this story we just watched. What stood out to you about this story? Is there anything about this story that really struck home? That it's a wonderful story, and it's really, there's a great message of hope to the way that Michelle has managed to find some comfort in purpose in helping others. I think that's really a powerful message to get across to viewers and everyone. I rewatched the series about 5 times, and it's very heartbreaking and helpful. Annie for Life says, thanks for having us. Annie, do I know you? We've seen you before, right? You've been in the group before. Been in this live event kind of environment before with us, haven't you? I think maybe. John Boy. Love from London. As a struggling addict, I feel the pain. Well, thank you for joining us, John Boy. There's someone, it's not in London. where was it? It's at Gatwick, which is like the edge of London. It's like a satellite town where the airport is. There's someone we've been talking to about maybe working out a way to come to London to do a summit. And I hope we'll be able to work that out. Brenda says, Kane, thanks for finding the courage to join the chat tonight. I promise we don't bite. Yeah, we don't bite. No, we are here. Kane, I see no message from Kane, but I believe you that it's there. Andy for Life says, this is my first time live. I've been commenting and watching for years, though. Thank you. Thank you. The comments are always... Okay, now let's back up on that. Most of the comments are awesome. They're extremely valuable. Not all. No, not all. But most of them are really spectacular, important, constructive, empathetic things that are very supportive of the storyteller and the message and the audience, for that matter. There's a few morons making comments too, but for the most part, the comments tend to be kind of beautiful. Kimberly says, John, you are in great hands in the group. Well, yeah. Welcome. Brenda asked, John Boy, until 557 days ago, I was long-suffering fentanyl junkie who thought she would die with the needle in my arm. But Brenda's doing much better now. Brenda is on it like Oprah on a baked ham. She's on it like a rat on a Cheeto. And I think the best part is Brenda's presence. Brenda being a part of this group and the other things that Brenda does a lot to help other people. And that's really where the gold is, that's where the ultimate reward is. It's having that kind of purpose, that kind of mission, that kind of recognized value that what you're doing is important. And what our storytellers are doing is really important. Everybody grows when someone shares a story. Judicious. Why did you ignore my last comment? Well, I'm not a quick reader. What did I miss, Judicious? I'm not... I don't typically ignore comments, but I'm looking. And I'm not seeing it. You can make the comment again. Judicious. What is it? Why did you ignore my last comment? I don't see it. I'm looking for it. Brenda says, don't even resemble the junkie I was. I am loving my ex-junkie life. Ex-junkie. Post-junkie. You're richer for the experiences that you had in addiction. There's a, not that people need to go through that learning experience, but there is things that you learn while going through addiction that make you appreciate life in a different way. And they help you have more empathy towards other people. Those are important things. And so, Glenn's series chat have been really blessing. Thank you, Kimberly. And Judicious, what was your comment? Judicious. I don't know what your. Please post it again. Brenda says, Judicious, I don't see a previous comment. Please repost. Yeah, so maybe the reason we ignored it is because we didn't see it. Love to hear what it was. Ex-addict here that was saved by Sublocade monthly injections. Awesome. I appreciate you being here. You know, we have a series of addiction recovery stories on our channel that you'd probably find interesting as well. Have you seen any of those stories? There's over 60 of them. I want to say there's 62, 63 right now. And we have several more that are recorded that we just haven't gotten to edit yet. This reads like I've read it before, but I don't think the word Sublocade is in the text anywhere else. I don't. I've read it before though. I feel like. John, I appreciate life and living sober living. Yay, Kimberly. So, Judicious, what else can you tell us about Sublocade? What are some things that our audience might benefit from knowing about? We have, typically in our audience, we have several people that are in recovery, you know, some point in recovery, but pretty much in long-term recovery. And is there any kind of insight that you could share about Sublocade? Brenda Miller says, Judicious, awesome, congratulations. Our last recovery story was using Suboxone to stay off of opioids. Keep up the great work. Yeah, keep up the great work. So, was there anything that stood out to anyone about the story that just premiered? One of the things that stood out to me was that the storyteller, Michelle, is really on a healing path. And what has her on a healing path is the way that she's turning her pain into purpose, doing something that helps others learn from what she's been through. And I think that's a big deal. So I can share a link to our recovery series. So here is the link. So I just added it to the chat from Addiction to Recovery. The full title of the series is From Journey from Addiction to Recovery. Hello, Viola. Thank you for joining us. Glad you're here. Did you manage to catch the premiere? Marianne Hope is here. Good to see you here again. It seems like it's been a while since I've seen your screen name show up in the chat. Has it been a while where you're just trolling and not saying anything? What's up with that? Grandma Viola. Brenda says, Sherry, I am so sorry you lost your son. I was 57 years old when I got off fentanyl. My battle wasn't as long as your David's. I apologize for the 30 years of his active addiction you worried through. God bless. And Brenda says, Viola, how the heck are you? Marianne's been in the hospital. The hospital? So what's the deal? Do you have a baby? What's up, Marianne? How are things going? Are things better now? You know, I don't know really what to say to. I've been in the hospital. I don't want to be too nosy or anything yet. Yeah, want to know you're okay. Want to let you know we care about you and find a way to say that without being too nosy. Annie for Life, her compelling college stood out to me. It gives a different face to what people assume addicts look like. For sure. Yes, it does. I've been in healthcare for years, and I've seen many faces personally and professionally. So Marianne, you had a stroke. That had to be pretty scary, I would think. Evidently, you have adequate communication skills. So that's a good sign. How are you doing now? Sherry says, David survived 14 overdoses, jail, and 2 motorcycle accidents, all because of addictions. I never deserted him and helped him through it all. I loved him so and am broken. He went to rehab 6 months, 3 times. Lionel says, I'm good, Brenda. Getting lots of physical therapy for my nerve damage to my chest post-radiation. Doing great. Grateful to be alive and here on this channel. Well, we're grateful. We're grateful you're here. Very grateful you're here, Viola. Marianne says, yes, it was. 70 YOF. I don't know how to interpret that. I'm slow, I went to public schools and yeah, so. Brenda says, Marianne, bless you, girl. Thank you for updating us. You are going on my Pray Deeply For list. I believe that on our next live event, we might open with a short presentation about some of the myths about naloxone, Narcan, and all the others. It's all naloxone. Brenda says, Viola, any, we are grateful you are here. You are also going on my Pray Deeply For list. And Marianne says, thank you, everyone. Kimberly says, Sherry and Mary, we are here for you. Yes, we certainly are. We're all here for each other. And in a larger scheme of things, that's how the world should work, really, right? That we're all here for each other. The golden rule, and we have to work together. John Boy says, I lost my leg in an accident, and that's where the opiates came in, and I've been on a 15-year run. Withdrawals from the opiates is more painful than losing the leg. Losing a leg has to be a tough thing, though. To imagine that a limb is gone, that's a challenge to get your head around, a challenge to envision, a challenge because it's there. It's reality is it's there, and so it's weird. There go the dogs. Do you still have? There's a name for it. Shadow pain, ghost pain. Like you feel like the missing leg is still there. Like the knee on that leg that is gone itches or something. Does that kind of thing happen? Is it happening now that I brought it up? If it is, sorry. Viola says the storyteller said something really key. These kids cannot try anything, cannot experiment like we used to. They just cannot. Love you, Brenda. Very good. Yes, that is an extremely important point. Annie for Life says, does the mom in tonight's episode have a website for her organization? I'm in Alabama as well, and I work for a major hospital in the capital city. I'd love to share it with my colleagues and friends. Phantom pain. What did I say? Ghost pain? Did I make your knee itch? If I did, I'm sorry. Yet I still keep feeling drawn to bring it up again. I know. I'm just terrible. Brenda says, John Boy, my run was 15 years. Yes, detox is worse than physical pain because it's physical, spiritual, mental, and then some. What have you tried in the past? What has worked best for you? Great question. Detox has got to be just a really substantial challenge, I'm sure. So we're going to be on the road tomorrow, heading toward Memphis, Tennessee. It's going to be a big summit. We're going to have 3 days of recording interviews, and there's going to be some other events going on, and a whole lot of time in the connection room for people to visit, bond, learn from each other, share from each other, support each other. That'll be an awesome time. Is there anything we should be doing? You guys have any ideas for things that we should be doing for the channel while we're in Memphis. And no, that doesn't mean going down to Beale Street. No, that's not likely, but anything that we might do at the summit that would be of interest to you guys, because we're certainly game to doing anything that might interest you all. Sherry says there's not enough support or education for families on how to motivate and help addicts get clean. Each individual needs to have purpose and feel worthy. Another big thing that you hear about addiction is the opposite of connection. And so connection is critical. That's what I take away from that, is a connection is critical, because if you have this connection, then the draw of the addiction is lessened by the connection. So I'm told. Marianne says, praying for everyone. No one knows what someone else is going through. So be kind. You know, it's fun to be kind. There's reward to it. Like all the time. There's always reward to being kind. Always reward to demonstrating kindness towards someone just because they're someone. In some ways, it's just a basic respect thing. Lionel says, so Kimberly, your surrogate grandma here will be putting you on a special prayer trek. Was not aware that you have strokes. Grandma got you. Kimberly says, I will be in a power wheelchair when you meet me, Glenn. Cool. Is it like a high performance one? Is it fast? Is it like a mag wheels and you know, a lot of chrome? Is it cool? It's cool, isn't it? I bet it's cool. Brenda says, John Boy, the mental obsession lasts longer than all other detox symptoms combined. But it does eventually start to slow down. Then the episodes get shorter. John, you can do this. Get signed up for the shot. John, you can do this. It's all about wanting it more than anything else. Wanting it is a genuine thing. And when I say wanting it, it's not just, well, I'd like to be sober. No, it's a lot more than that. It's wanting it with that same passion that would drive you to want your next dose, your next fix. Hammer Davis. I don't know if Michelle is here. Glad you're here, Hammer. Welcome. John Boy says, Brenda, that's my plan. What helps me is listening to other success stories. Those recovery stories are all about success stories. As far as I know, there's only one story in the series that has had a relapse. Could be more, I don't know. But of the ones that I know of, there's only one. Sherry says, David and I were very close and spent much time together. We were on the phone 2 or 3, it's daily, hours daily is what I assume that means. Lots of connection. But not from his dad or not much from siblings. Yeah. Hello, Brad. Glad you're here. Always glad when you're here, Brad. Good to see you. Brenda says, Brad, I am waiting until I can extrapolate all of the available data before starting the 5-year plan. Huh. Huh. There we go. Better? I bet it is. All right. Sherry, did David, father, and siblings stay away because of his addiction? I know my siblings don't have time for me. Now that I am clean, we are good. I know that my siblings didn't have time for me. And now that you're clean, you're good. Yeah, it's a matter of not knowing how to deal with someone in addiction. It's just not knowing. You know, there's no training on how to deal with a sibling or another family member who is in the throes of addiction. There's no knowing. So you shouldn't be too hard on them. The dog. Brad says he can get us all in at Toby Keith's. Yeah, I gotta head that way. I need a reason to be going to Oklahoma City or through Oklahoma City on my way to someplace northish of that. Hey, doggy. Yes. Yes, Viola. Say hello to the dogs. Just urge them on. And so, who else is in the room? I see we have only 20 people, over 28 people right now, and we have 7 thumbs up. Come on. We need the thumbs up. Everybody click the thumbs up. It ought to be somewhere down around here, if that's right. Somewhere along the bottom edge on this side of the screen, there ought to be a thumbs up icon. Click it, please. I have a young gentleman client that his family are addicts. That's a real challenge to grow up in a family that has a lot of addiction present, because just naturally you learn from what you're exposed to, you learn from what you experience. So that's got to be tough. So how are things going with you, Hammer? Haven't heard much from you in the chat. You're not typically one to be all that quiet. Brenda says that means 21 people are watching from the bed and they can't find their phone or the remote. Yeah, that could be right. I like how you did math there, Brenda. That's cool. So remember, if you are watching on a smart TV, you can still log in on your phone as well. And then you can interact with the chat on your phone while you still watch on the smart TV. Sherry says David's dad left our family when I was 7 months pregnant with our 5th child. Dad was the oldest and stayed close to his dad until betrayed multiple times by him. David turned his anger on himself. That's terrible. And Kimberly says, John, God is going to be with you tonight. Marianne Hope says, thumbs up that way. But remember, get the icon. It's somewhere around here, just off the screen. There's stuff right down there. And there should be a thumbs up icon. Just somebody clicked it. We picked up another one. So that's awesome. Brenda says, John Boy, please check in soon. We love you and we are here for you no matter what. God bless. We are. We're here for you no matter what. We'll do what we can. Who could ask for anything less than that? Look at that. Look at that. 2 more thumbs up. Good job, folks. Thank you very much. John Boy says, thanks, Clem. Much appreciated. Well, that's what we do. What we do. Doesn't cost anything to care about people. So who else is in the room? Is there any people in the room here who are new or pretty new to the room? Maybe you've got some questions for me about Texas Pictures or about the Fentanyl Series or one of our other series on our channel. Brenda has a great comment here. Brenda says, never use a loan. And she has a number here. Call 1-877-696-1996. And they will call 911 if you go unresponsive. So it's a way to not be alone, to have someone who will be looking out for you. By just calling that number, 877-696-1996. Hello, Josie. Josie Napola Fuentes Lopez. Do I know you? Have we met in person? There's parts of that name that seem familiar. Just parts. But parts of that name seem familiar. Brad says you are a special man, Glenn. Well, from anybody else, I know exactly how to take that. From Brad, thank you, Brad. I just feel very blessed to get to be doing what I'm doing. I it's really an awesome thing. It's just I've met so many really awesome people all over the country. So much love in their hearts, so much gratitude, so much of a just burning desire to help others heal. That's cool. All right. Sherry Smith says David's addictions eventually alienated his siblings, although they still spoke occasionally. His last motorcycle accident gave him a brain injury. Is that a TBI, a traumatic brain injury, or more a... Well, I don't actually know what other terms there are that relate to brain injuries, but motorcycle injury seems likely to be a TBI, a traumatic brain injury. Yes, Brenda, still no Nux. Brenda says, Brad, we should nominate Glenn for the Texas Hall of Fame. That's very flattering, assuming something like that actually exists and you're not just making it up. Is there a Texas Hall of Fame? Stacy says David's addictions eventually alienate. Oh, we did that one. Kimberly says, Glenn, when you get here in Memphis, I want us to take pictures together with the Texas documentary series. Yeah, I understand there's going to be some sort of banner. I'm very excited about coming to Memphis. It's going to be a wonderful, productive, helping people kind of event. It'll be awesome. Brenda says, Sherry, I'm so sorry David got a brain injury. My daughter had to have brain surgery in 2008, and it was scary as hell. After surgery, she failed to thrive, and we had to take her to the Mayo Clinic. Yeah, it's scary with stuff like that. I feel like we still don't know what we don't know. Sherry, Brenda says, Sherry, did you have to care for David after his brain injury? Well, that's a good question. That's an insightful question. We're up to 17 likes now. 27 people in the chat, only 17 likes. And part of that could be you're watching on a smartphone or on a smart TV rather. And you can still log in on your phone while you watch on the TV. So on your phone, you can engage in the chat. On your TV, you can watch the video. Brilliant, right? Who would have thought of that? Brandon says, Sherry, oh yeah, we did that. Brad says, I still ride my motorcycle. Now I always wear my helmet, which doesn't mean a whole lot. Well, now you always wear your helmet after the damage is done. Is that what you're saying, Brad? Yeah, the wearing the helmet thing. It's different when you have the helmet on. You're like more a part of the bike when you have a helmet on. And without a helmet, it's certainly it's more comfortable, I think. But it's also an ongoing scary thing because you don't have that protection going on. Brenda says, Brad, I call them murder cycles. I tried riding once when I was young. I did not care for it one iota. Just the thought gives me the willies. I had a small motorcycle when I was in high school and loved it. It was awesome. But also a little bit scary because all the people around you are in cars. And cars can hurt you. Later, when I first started Texas Pictures, we started doing work for the Houston Police Department, and we still do. But 19 years ago, I was on the call list whenever a call came in that was a fatality, a car crash fatality. Didn't have to be DWI. Just it needed to be a fatality. And a couple of those calls that I went to were motorcycles were involved. That's a way to talk yourself out of riding a motorcycle pretty quick. Sherry says TBI, left frontal lobe, executive function. The Safe Supply Clinic provided boxes of syringes and, of course, naloxone, which is useless when a person passes out and stops breathing. Yeah, it is. It is. This is what naloxone nasal spray looks like. It can have a different color label, but it's this. It's this shape. And if you use alone and you pass out, there's nobody there to jam this up your nose and spray. Never use alone. Brad says, really? Anytime you get on a scooter, you're taking a chance. But that can involve so many things. For sure. For sure. For most of us, driving is the most dangerous thing we will ever do. And we do it all the time, with little thought to just how dangerous it is. Someone loses their life in a car crash every 12 minutes or so in this country. And virtually all of those are caused by somebody committing a crime. all traffic crime, not just impaired driving, but speeding, failure to yield, failure to stay in your lane, failure to maintain a safe distance, ignoring traffic signs, all of that, all those things that are illegal. They're illegal for a reason. Traffic crime kills more people than any other kind of crime. And it is among the most preventable as well. It's easy to enforce. It's easy to catch people violating traffic laws but it's not a priority. We just don't take it serious. Mary Ann says, I lost 3 people by a drunk driver. Was that all at once or 3 separate events, or how did that happen? Brenda says, Brad, oh no, you're not taking me for a ride, not even if it's one of the cool 3-wheel ones. Brad says, trust me, riding a scooter, you have to be aware of everything around you. For sure, because there is the advantage of a scooter or motorcycle is all that visibility. You don't really have a blind spot. You can turn and see all the way around you. The downside is, along with no blind spot, there's no protection. There's the helmet and whatever kind of gear you're wearing. But it's not like in a car when you're surrounded by some sort of virtual roll cage and all that metal and, going the wrong way on the highway. Yeah, all those things. And one of the things that stands out to me is that, and this might not be very popular, but with impaired driving is never the only crime. If you drive impaired, but you make it home because you follow all the traffic laws, you made it home. If you look at car crash data, drunk drivers still have to commit some other traffic crime to get caught. If a drunk driver is weaving and drifting into another lane, well, that's a crime. That's a traffic crime. You can't stay in your lane. That's a crime. If you're speeding, that's a crime. That's a criminal act. If you run a red light or you ignore traffic signs or you're driving too fast for the circumstances. Like, you can't, just because the speed limit on the freeway you're on is 70, if it is hailing, 70 is probably not appropriate. I swear that might be worse as are people. What I swear, what might be worse are people texting while driving. Maybe. What I think is that's not the root of the problem. The root of the problem is not recognizing what a dangerous thing it is to drive, not recognizing how serious of a thing driving is. There ought to be some flag that goes off in your brain when you start to do something a little dangerous, like looking at your phone while you're going down the freeway. When you start to do something like that, something in your brain ought to go off and say, hey, you're being an idiot. And you put your phone down. Doesn't really work that way. Sherry says, I found my son in his apartment in the state of rigor mortis, and still administered naloxone 3 times, no response. Paramedics gave again and used the defibrillator. No response. Yes, of course, cars can be a killing machine, Marianne. And we have a documentary on our channel that we made for AAA called Sidetracked. And it's about distracted driving. The thing is, distracted driving causes people to break other traffic crimes as well. Drunk driving or distracted driving or mitigating circumstances. But ultimately, there's a core crime. Speeding, not staying in your lane, running a red light, ignoring traffic signals, whatever. There's another crime. And why not just take that crime seriously all the time? What if you got caught speeding, you got a year jail time? What would happen? Brenda says, Marianne, years ago, my cousin was celebrating getting out of the Army. Him, his sister, and her husband all left in his new Corvette. The oak tree didn't move when he hit, doing over 150 miles an hour. All 3 were killed. Sidetracked. I could probably even get you a link. I think I can do that. I can post a link. Here we go. So here's a link. Here's a link to our documentary about distracted driving right there. So, what? Marianne, years ago, my cousin was so. So in Brenda, so in the case of Brenda's case with the Corvette and the 3 fatalities, what was the cause? There was speeding. That's the big one. Doesn't matter why. Doesn't matter if they were drunk or sober. They were speeding, and significantly over the posted limit, whatever the posted limit was. And so I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm not explaining it as clearly as I need to be. It's a thing. This whole this seems kind of like deflection. If you're distracted, that leads you to commit a traffic crime. But if you commit the same traffic crime for some other reason, if you can't stay in your lane because you're distracted or drunk, that doesn't matter as far as staying in your lane or not. You're as big of a danger when you drift out of your lane, regardless of what the cause is. If it's because you're looking at your phone, if it's because you're impaired, doesn't matter. You drifted out of your lane. Kelly Bartos. If people got a year in prison for speeding, the cities wouldn't make no money. It's all about money, and that's why they write tickets. I don't think so. I think they write tickets because that's part of their job. Enforcement it's in their name. Law enforcement. It's part of their job. And so in cities, in municipalities where law enforcement cracks down on traffic crime, things like speeding, following too close, running stop signs, all of that kind of stuff. When those laws are enforced more urgently, more fervently, all the other crime goes down too. All of it. So it's a simple thing. The problem is for law enforcement, if you start cracking down on traffic laws, people start complaining to the mayor or complaining to attorney general or whoever, depending on what kind of agency it is. People complain. They say, well, why aren't you out there enforcing real laws? They are real laws. Car crashes kill more than 40,000 people a year and cost over $230 billion a year in damages. It's lethal and it's expensive. But somehow we don't take it seriously. I see, Brad, you have a semi. I bet you figured that out. That's funny right there. Why did the police text behind the wheel? I suppose some law enforcement officers would say, well, we're trained. We're professionally trained. And they are. That's no defense. The people that are around them are not trained. The other people that are on the road around them are not trained. There should be a law about texting while driving. There is. And there is in Texas, too. There's laws about using your phone while you're driving. And Marianne says, there is in my state of Rhode Island. And Brenda Miller says, Brad, I'm in Oklahoma. We have no texting law. Kimberly says, our cities don't prohibit texting and driving. That is a shame. All right, we have been here for over an hour. So it is going to be time to wrap things up soon because Well, because it's getting late, and I know Brad needs to turn in because he's an old guy. But so I wanted to look in on where our news story is at, and it has been I don't in the first 89 minutes. It has been viewed over 1,400 times. And that is 448 more than usual for our channel. So that's great news that it's reaching more people. And it's also led to 2 new subscribers. When are they going to enforce the laws? Yeah, that's a thing, and it works. It's proven to work. If you enforce traffic laws, all the other crime rates go down. And all law enforcement agencies know this is the case. So. Brad says now pot is legal in Oklahoma. There is a dispensary every damn mile, and that weed today is so powerful compared to back in the day. Yeah, it's crazy dangerous and unpredictable. The big thing is people believe that, like, if you go into a dispensary and buy some weed, it is regulated at a level of scrutiny that just isn't there. It's an illusion. It is not. There's a giant margin for error in the measurement process. And somehow that's acceptable. But it is going to be. Marianne says, thank you, Glenn. Brad says, God bless all of you. Yes, for sure. Brad, appreciate you being here. Appreciate you being here a lot. I do. Kimberly says, God bless you all. Sherry, LA is an awful place for anyone who uses. Please join us again soon. It's been nice chatting with you this evening. God bless you and yours. Viola says, I love you all. Have a good night, everyone. All the way from Atlanta. And Brenda says, what you take for granted, someone else is praying for. I saw that phrased a different way somewhere earlier today. So we have 48 people in the room now, and we have 24 thumbs up. Sherry says, David did brain rehab in Canada and was given accident disability for life. I became his financial curator because I didn't want his life controlled by the government. He eventually got his own apartment. Well, that sounds like a victory. That sounds like that certainly sounds like progress. That's awesome. Night, night, doggy. Yeah, those dogs are brutal. All right, folks, but it is time to wrap it up for tonight. We've been here for over an hour and 12 minutes to be close to exact. There's Marianne saying, please hit that subscribe, share, and comment button. Yeah, hit them all. Just hit them all. We appreciate you guys so much for being a part of these live events and for watching the channel and for all of your feedback and all the stuff that we share in these live events. There is just this great environment of heart, of love, of this constructive strength and unity kind of thing. It's wonderful. Good night, Marianne. So, anyway, thank you all for being here. Now, I always like to remind everyone we're here for you. And you can reach out to us anytime. You can reach out to us by email at info@texas-pictures.com. You can find us on Facebook under my name, Glenn Muse, and send me a friend request and then message me in Instant Messenger. You can also find more information about us on the Texas Pictures website at texas-pictures.com. You can find our mailing address. You can find more information about our company, our phone number, and all kind of cool things like a merchandise store and information about how to share your story and all that kind of stuff. So that's it for tonight, folks. Thank you very much for joining us. Our next live event will probably be next Monday. Maybe sometime while we're in Memphis, but for sure next Monday. So until then, thank you, everyone. Brenda says, Sherry, my daughter, took 11 years to fully recover. She has been on her own since 2024. That's awesome, Brenda. Okay, folks. Good night, everyone. We will talk to you next time.